and you are going to see why very shortly. This program started out as an experiment. Actually, it began at ACT with an advanced acting class. I wanted to try that. I was interested in trying the notion of professional acting training for young actors. There's a reason why you wait for graduate school to have that kind of training, because it's some of it is very deep emotional work, deep technical work, and started with a very special group of very talented, highly intelligent young actors. And it's a program that seems to be working very well. So basically, these guys at this age sign up for a 2-year, 4 semesters, basically, 12 weeks in each semester, and they get professional actor training at this fine young age. This past semester has been primarily Linklater work. Kristen Linklater developed a series of system of the voice. That is, there's a book called Freeing the Natural Voice, which is pretty much the Bible of voice work in graduate training. A lot of the work that they did this semester was the exact same work I did my first 2 semesters at SMU when I got my graduate degree. We were going to be starting out with well, a poem, and then there's going to be some texting work that you'll hear that's all about texting, about making text clear through hitting operative words, followed by some tongue twisters that are staples of graduate training. Any of you who've gone to graduate school in acting, you will recognize some of these things, and if not, you might recognize them anyway. And then we're going to do some Shakespeare monologues, which is always a fine example of voice work, and then, of course, some action, poetry and action. So a lot of the focus this semester, a little bit on combat, but mostly on voice and speech work. Some of these pieces they were given not that long ago, because we weren't performance-oriented this semester. It was all about the process. So I asked them to put some things together in the past couple of weeks, and they, of course, can memorize things very quickly and are absolutely astounding. We have not quite decided about the first poem as to who's going to do it, so they're going to come out and do some warm-ups and work it out themselves. And so, without any further ado, I'm very, very, very proud to excuse me, Mr. Snippage, right? I'm very, very proud to present the inaugural class at their end of their first year professional youth actor training program of North Carolina Stage Company. Give it up.
I think the Highwayman actually does a little something like this. Like what? Like this. Ow! Ow! Hey! Oh! Michael's gonna let me do the Highwayman. He could. I just gotta do it. I'm pretty sure he made it clear that I was doing it. I'm pretty sure he did it. He said I was gonna do it. Don't think so. So you wanna know why? Why? That's why. The wind was a torrent of darkness.
Hey there.
Oh, hey.
What's going on here?
Don't mind the bodies. They're
Bodies,
crossed.
yeah.
I'm doing the Highwayman.
The Highwayman?
Yeah.
Oh, that should be real fun.
It should be. Yeah. The wind was a torrent of darkness.
There. It's a Tess's dead body. That's an interesting sight. You might want to check that out. Sorry, kid. The wind was a torrent of darkness.
Hey, David. What's up with the
Bodies? Oh, don't mind them. Michael will clean them up later. We'll get rid of them soon. I just had to finish the Highwayman.
Oh, the Highwayman?
Because, yeah, it picked me.
Oh,
So,
that's adorable.
yeah,
You really think he's gonna give it to
yeah,
you?
because I'm
The wind was a torrent of darkness. The wind was a torrent of darkness. What's going on?
Oh, I'm just practicing for the Highwayman. Michael gave it to me.
Oh, you're doing the Highwayman.
Yeah.
That's so exciting.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. one-man job. I am Michael's favorite. The wind was a torrent of darkness. The wind was a torrent of darkness among the gusty trees. The moon was a ghostly galleon tossed upon cloudy seas. The road was a ribbon of moonlight over the purple moor. And the highwayman came riding, riding, riding. The highwayman came riding up to the old inn door.
He'd a French cocked hat on his forehead, a bunch of lace at his chin, a coat of claret velvet, and breeches of brown doe skin. They fitted with never a wrinkle. His boots were up to his thigh. He rode with a jeweled twinkle. His pistol butts a twinkle. His rapier hilt a twinkle, under the jeweled sky.
Over the cobbles he clattered and clashed in the dark inn yard. He tapped his whip on the shutters, but all was locked and barred. He whistled a tune to the window, and who should be waiting there but the landlord's black-eyed daughter, Bess, the landlord's daughter, plaiting a dark red love knot into her long black hair.
And dark in the dark old inn yard, a stable wicket creaked, where Tim the ostler listened. His face was white and peaked. His eyes were hollows of madness, his hair like moldy hay. But he loved the landlord's daughter, the landlord's red-lipped daughter. Dumb as a dog he listened, and he heard the robber say,
One kiss, my bonny sweetheart. I'm after a prize tonight, but I shall be back with the yellow gold before the morning light. Yet if they press me sharply and harry me through the day, then look for me by moonlight. Watch for me by moonlight. I'll come to thee by moonlight, though hell should bar the way.
He rose upward in the stirrups. He scarce could reach her hand. But she loosened her hair in the casement. His face burnt like a brand. As the black cascades of perfume came tumbling over his breast, and he kissed its waves in the moonlight. Oh, sweet black waves in the moonlight. He tugged at his reins in the moonlight and galloped away to the west.
He did not come in the dawn. He did not come at noon. And out of the tawny sunset, before the rise of the moon, when the road was a gypsy's ribbon, looping the purple moor, a redcoat troop came marching, marching, marching. King George's men came marching up to the old inn door.
They said no word to the landlord. They drank his ale instead. But they gagged his daughter and bound her to the foot of her narrow bed. Two of them knelt at her casement with muskets at their side. There was death at every window and hell at one dark window. For Bess could see through her casement the road that he would ride.
They tied her up to attention with many a sniggering jest, and they bound a musket beside her with the barrel beneath her breast. Now keep good watch, and they kissed her. She heard the dead man say, Look for me by moonlight, watch for me by moonlight. I'll come to thee by moonlight, though hell should bar the way.
She twisted her hands behind her, but all the knots held good. She writhed her hands till her fingers were wet with sweat or blood. She stretched and strained in the darkness, and the hours crawled by like years. Till, on the stroke of midnight, cold on the stroke of midnight, the tip of one finger touched it. The trigger at last was hers.
The tip of one finger touched it. She strove no more for the rest. Up she stood to attention, the barrel beneath her breast. She would not risk their hearing. She would not strive again. For the road lay bare in the moonlight, blank and barren in the moonlight, and her blood in her veins in the moonlight throbbed her love's refrain.
Tlot, 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 tlot in the distance. The horse hooves ringing clear. Tlot, 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 tlot in the distance. Were they deaf that they did not hear? Down the ribbon of moonlight, over the brow of the hill, the highwaymen came riding, riding, riding. The redcoats looked to their priming. She stood up, straight and still.
Tlot, tlot in the frosty silence, tlot, tlot in the echoing night. Nearer he came and nearer. Her face was like a light. Her eyes grew wide for a moment. She drew one last deep breath. When her finger moved in the moonlight, her musket shattered the moonlight, shattered her breast in the moonlight, and warned him with her death.
He turned, he spurred to the west. He did not know who stood, bowed with her head over the musket, drenched in her own red blood. Not till the dawn he heard it. His face grew gray to hear how best the landlord's daughter, the landlord's black-eyed daughter, had watched for her love in the moonlight and died in the darkness there.
Back he spurred like a madman, shrieking a curse to the sky, the white road smoking behind him, and his rapier brandished high. Blood red were his spurs in the golden noon, wine red was his velvet cloak, and they shot him down like a dog on the highway, with a bunch of lace at his throat.
And still of a winter's night, they say, when the wind is in the trees, when the moon is a ghostly galleon tossed upon cloudy seas, when the road is a moonlit ribbon over the purple moor, a highwayman comes riding, riding, riding. A highwayman comes riding up to the old inn door.
Over the cobbles he clatters, and clings in the darkened yard. He taps with his whip on the window. But, and who should be waiting there? The landlord's black-eyed daughter, Beth, the landlord's daughter, plaiting a dark red love knot into her long black